to the Death Battle cast. It's Dragon Fight time, everybody. We got an exciting one to talk about today. It's going to be good. Hey, I'm Ben, voice of Wiz, creator of the show Death Battle. You know, it's me. Nobody cares about me. Let's talk about Chad. There's Chad. Voice of Boomstick.
Whoa!
Nobody cares of me. Nobody cares about me. Let's talk about Chad.
Yeah.
What an intro.
So that's Chad.
Hi. Hey, everyone.
Well, you know, I don't know if anybody cares about Chad, so let's talk about Liam.
Ooh.
It's Liam.
I like that transition. That one was good.
These are
Hey,
great
everybody.
transitions.
How are you doing? I'm Liam. That's all I got. That's all I have.
I guess
Not a
nobody
lot
really cares
left.
about Liam. Let's talk about Josh. Woo!
I didn't time that right. Dang it. I didn't know what was coming.
Almost.
It's
Wow.
powers are
Almost on
delayed.
That almost looked not awful.
That's so close. Dang it. Next week.
Love it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Death Battle cast. We have a exciting matchup to talk about today as we are getting closer and closer to the season premiere, Death Battle Season 10. Holy shit, we are very close. It is, we're less than a month out.
It feels like it's been forever.
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah.
It's definitely been a bit different, you know, spending the first like quarter of the year not having Death Battle episodes. But if you haven't heard, our first episode will be airing near the end of May, May 21st and 22nd. And it will be Ant-Man vs. Adam, as directed by Josh. And we're very excited to share it with you because it is a very interesting episode. There's some interesting, bizarre things that happen in it. These characters are pretty unique.
It might be shrinking. Perhaps.
Whoa.
I don't know.
There might be science.
There might be demon
Maybe.
summoning. There might
I don't know
be
about that.
like
Demon
gods
summoning.
of
Demons.
death. There might be Columbo. We've gotten to a point where there just might be Columbo nowadays.
You know,
That's
everything you
fair.
said.
That's
that
the
last
most
one
accurate.
might actually be true.
Probably a
I
higher
hate-
chance of Columbo than shrinking in Ant-Man vs. Adam.
I hate how far you've carried this torch, Liam.
I know, it's so good. No, you love how far I've carried this.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's the word. Spees gifted out 10 championships. Thank you, Spees.
Fuck!
Oh my wow. Also, what a name.
Yeah,
Spees.
Spees. It's fun to say.
It's great.
Love it.
I just got Spees
but-
all over myself.
Ah.
Oh no.
You ruined it.
Well, you know, 10, you know, lucky people have been speezed all over, so.
Bye, Chad. I'm
Um,
gonna count his vote for me.
No, that's not how this works.
Just
The
dibs.
chair says
Okay, thank
Liam.
you. He's back.
I
all right,
appreciated
so,
you, Spees.
as I was saying, Ant-Man vs. Adam is premiering near the end of May, and after that, the show's just going. Like normally, we have a mid-season break, right? This year, we're not doing that. It is every 2 weeks, a new Death Battle is going to air until we get to the end of the season, which is basically just the end of the year. So it's going to be a lot. But
Nonstop,
we've got
real
some cool
ride.
episodes coming up.
Speaking of a lot, all heart, no skill gifted 10 memberships. Y'all have been
That's
so
amazing.
crazy lately.
Yeah, super generous, which is really neat. We really appreciate it, especially like moving into the season. Like we are doing everything we can to make sure that the season, given that it's our 10th season, is just feels really special.
Thanks, Team Dark. Oh, yeah.
But speaking of special, we've got a special community death battle for today because we're doing one that I've seen requested quite a bit over the years. Rayquaza, the Sky High Pokemon, versus Bahamut, the dragon god of the skies from Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
This is interesting. We've seen this one requested quite a bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever it's brought up, I usually am like, yeah, I want to do that because I think it'd be really cool. I think it'd be a good.
Yeah.
Idea.
Well, I'm very interested to see how this discussion goes because I think there's a lot of questions, or at least I have a lot of questions about how this matchup would even kind of work.
Yeah.
So
hopefully I can answer some of that.
Yeah, especially from Bahamut's side.
Yeah.
But Rayquaza also has some tricky things to kind of figure out. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to be arguing for Rayquaza, and Liam is going to be arguing for Bahamut. And it's our job to convince the jury to vote for our character to win a death battle. And the jury consists of 3 seats. Chad, Josh, and you all watching this live right now. At the end of the show, you'll be able to vote on who you think would win between Rayquaza and Bahamut.
Yeah.
And of course, this is in the courtroom, so if you have anything you want to say, please let us know in the chat. We are keeping an eye out. I'm seeing a bunch of amazing membership badges going up, as well as
did you see that
Azure
Kage
Flame
dropped
for being a member
20
for 6
gifted
months.
memberships, man? Because that happened.
Of course, Kage did. Jesus.
Kage's insane.
Thank you, Kage. That's amazing. All right. I think we should probably just get into this because I think there's going to be a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
I think so.
They're doing the thing where we can never
I
get on
brought a
because
lot
they
to
keep-
talk about.
Like, Gelatin Man just gifted 20 because he won't be outdone by Kage,
What?
apparently.
Oh, gosh. Guys.
Gelatin and Kage definitely don't get into a gifting competition. That would be a terrible idea. Don't do
It
that.
will derail the show. Be financially
No, we-
responsible.
Yes. Of course. I mean, I'm sure they are, but we really do appreciate it. Okay. So, I think I'll go ahead and get started with my 60-second
I think it's probably better.
opening, just because I feel like Bahamut's going to be a little. I feel like once you introduce Bahamut, we're going to go into a bit of a rant about how to even handle Bahamut.
There'll be a long answer and a short answer, and I'll
Yeah.
give you both.
All right, so let's start with Rayquaza. 60 seconds on the clock, and I'll get started. Rayquaza is the master of the Weather Trio, essentially a collection of Pokemon designed by God to build a planet. Groudon was there to build the Earth. Kyogre was there to build the sea. And, well, at first I thought, oh, Rayquaza's there to sort of build the sky. No, actually, Rayquaza's there to basically smack them on the butt whenever they do something wrong. Groudon and Kyogre. He's the guardian of Earth, really. Rayquaza flies around the ozone, out of view, and protects the Earth, not just from Groudon and Kyogre, because if they go primal and angry, they could destroy the whole planet, but also from outside threats like aliens, like literally aliens and things of that nature. Rayquaza is incredibly powerful, one of the most powerful Pokemon ever created, to a point where he broke Pokemon itself, like the franchise, and I'll talk about that later. But ultimately, he is one of the most powerful Pokemon to ever exist. And Pokemon, as we've talked about before, get into levels of ridiculously high power. I know we had kind of a glitch on the timer, so I'll go ahead and end there, so I can move on to you, Liam.
Yeah.
This is cool learning about older Pokemon.
Have you
haven't
pulled a Rayquaza card?
I'm looking through them right now.
for
Hang
one?
on, I'll give me 1 second.
Yeah,
It's here somewhere because I have a really rare one actually. There he is.
actually, one of my feats that I have is regarding the cards. So
Yeah, it's
which one
this
is it?
That's the Rayquaza V alt art. It's one of the most expensive and evolving skies. Not the most, but it's up there.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and get my trading card feat out of the way.
Yeah.
Rayquaza Star is one of the rarest and priciest cards out there. There's one currently online for $12,000.
What?
So
That's a lot of dollars.
Bahamut, are you worth $12,000?
Wasn't that a thing for
It's
Final
probably it probably should be worth $12,000.
Was
That's the
that-
highest one.
Was
I
it
could
for
find.
Fantasy VII Remake where there was that statue of Tifa like twerking or something that cost like $12,000? There was some sort of like, it was like for a game that came out relatively recently, and it was like hot girl statue, $1 billion, and I was like, what? I don't remember. I think it was Tifa. Tifa. Very
you are
funny.
Totally
it was
possible.
Terra.
Yeah.
It was
I found
Terra.
it.
It was.
Final Fantasy Terra statue for $12,000.
I thought it was like
That's
a,
not Bahamut.
Oh, it's her on the mech. That's why it's like a giant mech
Oh,
Okay.
I think I was conflating two.
statue. It
different
is
I think there
massive.
There was a different Tifa statue.
There's,
Oh,
I'm sure
yeah.
there are plenty of statues out there of
yeah.
Tifa twerking,
Risque.
but I
just
don't know if they're worth $12,000.
Internet doesn't cost that much money, pal. Statues.
Go.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and get to Bahamut.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mike, I want you to bring up the one image that I sent you because I think that this is all I really need. This is all it is.
In your opening statement?
If you're
Yeah,
wait,
I know.
you're not doing the thing
Unprecedented.
again. I swear to God, it better be a jokey
Yeah.
thing.
There's motherfucking Bahamut right at the bottom there, planet level, holding up the Earth. Get fucked. Get fucked, everybody.
It just looks like he's
JK.
holding up a rock.
He's That's the plant. That's the earth.
Isn't he holding up the ox, and the ox is holding up the
Person.
angel,
Yes,
and the
and that-
angel's holding up the
thing.
planet?
You're right. He's holding up much more than just the earth. Anyways,
I think he's dividing the weight of the earth between 3 creatures.
that's actually maybe the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But
If you're
anyways,
as big as the
um,
planet, is it as impressive of a feat? I mean,
Yes,
We're not
it is-
supposed to be interrupting. I just realized.
anyways, no, I'm joking. Bahamut is unbelievably powerful, even if you don't composite him, and we'll get into that. He has way more hacks than Rayquaza. He has way more resistances than Rayquaza. He's in a level of power far beyond Rayquaza. He's just better in every way.
Oh, okay. Nice and concise.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how we're going to treat Bahamut in this.
That
'cause obviously there's
that's
a lot of
obviously a drawing, Liam. That really got me.
Ceci n'est pas un pipe. That's a paint sign. This is not a pipe.
Okay.
The difference between a pipe and
so
a painting of a pipe. Okay.
Bahamut. There have been multiple Bahamuts throughout Final Fantasy's history. In fact, like every game
Yes,
has a different Bahamut.
every
right?
game has a different Bahamut. He is a staple. Well, except for Final Fantasy 2. Not in Final Fantasy 2.
Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy 3 is where he started to become a thing. Every game has Bahamut though, in some form or fashion or another. The way that I went approaching this when I went about my research, and maybe we can talk about, if we ever did this episode, get more into it, like which be more strict about it or be less strict. I don't know. There was a lot of talk and discussion about, do you composite Bahamut or do you just pick a single Bahamut? For most cases, we would composite Bahamut in the same way that we're compositing Rayquaza, like we composite game Rayquaza and anime Rayquaza and manga Rayquaza. But the difference is that each Final Fantasy, or almost all of them, take place in a different universe from each other. And the Bahamuts in each one have a different origin story. When I looked into it, though, what I found is, for the most part, he's just a big fucking dragon. And you can get into more detail about, in this one he's an Esper, in this one he's an Eidolon, in this one he's a summon, in this one he's just a dragon. But, it all boils down to he is a big-ass dragon that can do magic. And I think the fact that he is still a summon and he's still a big dragon in Dissidia, where all of those characters from different universes cross over, plays to the part that it indicates that the franchise treats him as a big dragon, and his origin changes because of the way that they want to have Final Fantasy be different in every game. But fundamentally, in most cases, there are some exceptions, and I didn't include this, but in most cases, Bahamut is a big gray dragon, and he always has Mega Flare, and ta-da.
So in most cases, then, would you say Bahamut is basically the same type of dragon, but
Yes.
just
Yeah.
depending on the universe that he lives in, he's been molded to fit.
Yeah,
that
he
sort
has a
of
different...
place and-
He is a different, he's a different stated magical being, the difference between an Esper and an Eidolon, but Final Fantasy magic system is universal between all of its universes. You have you have different game mechanics, but again, they all go to Dissidia, they all use fucking Faraga and Blizzaga and Curaga and stuff like that.
Mhm.
There's not fundamentally, for the sake of a death battle, a big difference. The difference would be in talking about his origin, but in an episode, that's more of how we would treat the script. How are we going to introduce Bahamut? Are we going to talk that's less of a debate thing and more of just a script thing. So I think that what I did was I composited not Final Fantasy 1 Bahamut, because he actually doesn't do anything. He just is there, and he's a wise king of the dragons, and he upgrades your classes from warrior to knight and thief to ninja. But Final Fantasy 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the base one in 7, because there are different strains of Bahamuts in 7, 8, 9, 10, and then maybe 14, but I have to keep looking into it a little bit more. It's much more complicated in 14, but I think those Bahamuts are fine, as well as some of the side material, other games that are, Final Fantasy games that aren't numbered.
There's so
Okay.
many.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Yeah.
we're definitely not gonna, come to
I'm not
a
going to
decisive
individually
conclusion
discuss
here.
all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not what this is, Death Podcast is for.
Yeah.
If we were to ever actually do this as a death battle, which seems somewhat likely given how often this is requested, this would become a much more important discussion.
At worst, and the short answer is, at worst, Final Fantasy V Bahamut. He's just
You
a
think
big
so?
he's just a big fucking dragon in that. He's a super boss in it. And he gets the best scaling. and he still has all the hacks he needs in that. Final Fantasy Light Bahamut is fine, but I'd rather, for the sake of an episode, we do some kind of
Yeah,
composite.
especially for this.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and I mean, I think Rayquaza. You talked about like compositing Rayquaza because they're not necessarily using different universes. We technically would be if we were
Yeah.
to composite anime Rayquaza with a video game and whatnot. Those are technically different universes. There is an actual cosmological structure in Pokemon that regards that. So typically speaking, with like a Pokemon, we would focus on one version as like the primary source, right? The anime or the video games or whatever. So if we're gonna do this with Bahamut, that also kind of opens the door for me to just kind of pull whatever from any Rayquaza material. It's not nearly as like divisive as pulling from a bunch of different Bahamuts, but I think it sort of balances out.
And in Pokemon, it's always just Rayquaza. Like, I think that's a much more acceptable.
Yeah.
Like, he's Rayquaza.
Sort of.
Okay.
There's there are versions of Rayquaza that are debatable because there are different Rayquazas technically. But I can just go ahead and get into that as sort of my first thing I want to talk about, which is in the anime. So Rayquaza has appeared in the anime several times, and well, let me just go ahead and give the general idea of what Rayquaza does, because every story with Rayquaza is almost the same.
Yeah,
the story
it's
is
like Mewtwo.
Yeah, the story is Cyrus of Team Galactic's like, oh, I want to reset the universe with Dialga and Palkia, the Pokemon of time and space. And he gets Dialga and Palkia, and he's like, oh wait, no, I'm jumping ahead. Not Cyrus. The Team Aqua or Team Magma is like, I want to reset the Earth. Every Pokemon story is the same. I want to reset the Earth with Kyogre or Groudon. So they get Kyogre or Groudon, and they start resetting the Earth. And then either Earth starts filling up the Earth, like rock, Earth for Groudon, or water starts filling up.
I am so confused.
It already is.
And then Rayquaza shows up and is like, bitch, get in line, and smacks Groudon or Kyogre and saves the day, and then things go back to normal. Yeah, that's basically the story of
Deoxys.
well, yes, there is the second part of Rayquaza. The second part is that he's the enemy of Deoxys, because Deoxys is an alien that kind of flies in from outer space in a meteor, crashes into Earth, and Rayquaza's job is to stop alien entities from. One of Rayquaza's jobs is to stop alien entities from entering Earth and threatening it.
Pokemon got effing wild, y'all.
Yeah.
Like,
really was
just
just
like
thinking.
the main villain was like a gangster.
Yeah.
Remember when he was just like Vito Corleone, and he was like, I want a big cat.
I kind of missed that.
Like Pokemon, it's fun.
Funny enough, the thing I want to talk about does have to do with Team Rocket more so than anybody else.
Okay.
So the first time we see Rayquaza in the anime, he's dealing with the Kyogre Groudon shit, which is obviously very easily scales to planet level. They literally created the planet. He's able to beat the shit out of them. Cool. But something that they establish in every canon is that Rayquaza can Mega Evolve, and he is the only Pokemon that can Mega Evolve by himself because he's eaten enough meteors that he has grown an organ inside him that acts the same as a Megastone. He just is a living Megastone, essentially. So
cool.
He has a kidney stone. He has a magical kidney stone.
Basically. So
This thing is
he's
really
not
hard.
just fought Kyogre and Groudon. This is why I kind of jumped ahead a little bit. There is a part in the anime where when we first see Rayquaza in the anime, he's the green one, right? But then there's a movie, the Hoopa movie. So Hoopa is like I guess basically a genie Pokemon who can just like summon things and transform and whatnot. There's a point in the movie where Hoopa is like a dark. I'm not entirely familiar with Hoopa, but apparently, like the shadow form of Hoopa is trying to take over Hoopa and become evil. And in order to defend himself, Hoopa summons a few different legendary Pokemon, and the evil Hoopa summons a bunch of legendary Pokemon as well. So the evil Hoopa summons Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon, Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina all at the same time. Good Hoopa summons Latios and Latias, who are like plain Pokemon basically, and Mega Shiny Rayquaza for some reason.
Turbo
Mega
edition.
shiny.
Yeah, so
3,000.
which is like black and gold as opposed to the green one. So Mega Shiny Rayquaza just shows up and starts battling Kyogre, Groudon, Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina all at the same time. Latios and Latias are there too, but they can't deal with that shit. They're more so there to give Ash a reason to fly up and deal with Hoopa. Rayquaza is the one who's the muscle behind this group. So Rayquaza's fighting all of these Pokemon all at once. And Dialga and Palkia and Giratina are far more powerful than Kyogre and Groudon are. Like, these are Pokemon that were birthed to create time and space and antimatter. That is their purpose.
Yeah. They're the
when
Kyogre
Arceus,
and Groudon of the universe.
Yes, exactly. When Arceus created the universe, in order to create time, he created Dialga. In order to create space, he created Palkia.
On the seventh day.
Yes.
Mega shiny
Ash
Giratina.
To the point where in the anime later on in the more recent series, there's a point when Team Rocket, bringing them back, an alternate universe Team Rocket gets Dialga and Palkia to start fighting each other, and they start warping the entire multiverse. The entire multiverse is just like changing on a whim. Like, Pokemon are forgetting moves or turning into eggs. Ash and another Ash become even younger than they are, which is a feat in and of itself because he's immortal and never changing in age. So these two Pokemon by themselves can completely rewrite the multiverse. And Mega Rayquaza is just soloing them and a couple others. It is wild to me just how powerful this Pokemon is. And that's just in the anime.
That's wonderful. Let's talk about Bahamut.
Oh god.
All right. So, since we started with power, let's start with power. Lots of different because Bahamut, we're taking Bahamut from all these games, and because characters like Gilgamesh exist in Final Fantasy V, as well as a bunch like Gilgamesh canonically travels between the Final Fantasy multiverse into different universes. You can scale Bahamut to just nearly about everything in those games, especially in Final Fantasy V. So Final Fantasy V, the oft forgotten but very good because it has an awesome job system, Final Fantasy game. You fight a bad guy called Exdeath, and Exdeath is a tree. Exdeath is a tree that got filled with so much evil that he became alive and wants to kill everything. And the way that he does that is by eventually merging with the Void. And so what the Void is the expression, the universal force of nothingness and destruction, like of void, that exists across the entire Final Fantasy multiverse, which is infinite. There are infinite Final Fantasy universes. There are infinite versions of each of the main universes, infinite. And the Void exists connected to all of them. And when Exdeath merges with that, the Void, he becomes Neo Exdeath and is going to destroy the entire infinite multiverse. Neo Exdeath is level 81. Bahamut is level 99 in that fucking game. Bahamut is a super boss that you fight, and he is fucking stronger. He is stronger, a higher level than Neo fucking Exdeath, and you fight him. So that's Bahamut's level of power in just one game. I guess we can get into spells. I'm gonna get into hacks too. That sounds good. No one's saying anything.
No,
no
but before I mean, we're all sitting here
Jesus
in stunned.
Christ.
I didn't realize we were
Wait,
getting
does it end?
multiversal.
Okay, I was like,
we're just jumping right into
no
it.
one said anything, and I was like, okay, I guess that's not very impressive. Let's get into.
No, I'm more in stunned silence that they're both multiversal.
I guess I'm not entirely sure how that.
You're not sure.
Sorry,
that
what was
tracks?
the tree doing?
Destroying the infinite multiverse. The tree.
Okay, but how?
Oh my gosh.
Merging with the Void, which is the energy source
Right,
of
but
like
was it
destruction
like
and
all
nothingness.
happening at once, or was it
Yes.
like I'm going to destroy this
Yeah.
universe and this universe and this
all
universe?
at once? And if Bart's
it.
and company did not defeat him, he was going to do that. He was just going to destroy everything.
Okay.
Yeah. He's also
Understood.
omnipresent. He's also omnipresent within the Void. Like, he exists as part of all of the Void all at once. which would make his speed effectively infinite. Which would scale to Bart's, and then would scale
Why
to
can't we just have a
Bahamut.
simple dragon on dragon?
Thank you.
It's
Well,
crazy.
Ben started with
You know
the
what?
fucking Team Rainbow Rocket shit, so I figured why not?
Well,
I'll
you know,
jump in
I
there,
was
too.
gonna start. I was
I've-
gonna
No,
start
you
with a
weren't.
manga where he
pulls up a
matches essentially Ultra Necrozma through some
Really
hop
quick,
skip scaling, but
Ben, I've got something that everyone can understand. And that is HelloFresh, because this episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. HelloFresh takes the hassle out of mealtime this spring by delivering pre-portioned ingredients and easy-to-prepare recipes right to your door. Skip the checkout lines and get outside in the warm weather because HelloFresh has dinner covered. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. The cost of groceries is going way up. Yes, it sure is. My children won't stop eating, and it might financially bankrupt me. So that's why it's important that we have things like HelloFresh. On average, HelloFresh meals have a 31% lower carbon footprint than the same meals made from supermarket ingredients. Plus, nearly all HelloFresh packaging materials are curbside, recyclable in most areas of the U.S. Go to HelloFresh.com/cast50 and use code cast50 for 50% off. Plus, your first box ships free. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/cast50 and use the code cast50 to get 50% off and free shipping on your first box. Thanks again to HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit and a longtime sponsor of ours. We appreciate it. And thank you for helping
all
me
right.
feed my family and offset the cost.
Side note,
Yes.
I think X-Death, who is an evil tree that wants to destroy everything and is powered by death, would be a great opponent for Swamp Thing, who is a good tree powered by life.
Oh, that's a fun idea.
Isn't that?
That's
Yeah,
a fun idea.
I like that. Even though X-Death is, I mean, Swamp Thing could maybe, I don't know. Anyways,
Swamp Thing gets ridiculous.
Swamp Thing gets redundant. He still probably
yeah.
beats X-Death even after what I said, but like, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, okay. So the thing I was going to talk about, and I realized I sort of jumped ahead. I was originally going to start with, oh yeah, he can match Necrozma, who could wipe out a universe.
Yeah.
But Dialga Paul can wipe out a multiverse.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter that I did all that research in the manga.
I was going to mention the scaling to Eden, who's a summon from Final Fantasy VIII that shoots a giant laser from Earth to a different galaxy and then blows the entire galaxy up, and it takes like 1 second. But even that's like that's like dog shit compared to the Final Fantasy V thing.
There's ultimately this battle is a battle of flying dragons in the sky or in space. A lot of lasers, and then they blow up the universe.
There is a lunar
Sweet.
Bahamut that you fight on the moon at one point.
Well,
Anyways.
Kindrex just blew us up with 20 gifted memberships. Thank you,
Oh my
Kindrex.
God. Thank you so
Whoa,
much.
Thank you.
Amazing.
So, okay, yeah, you want to talk about hacks?
Let's get into hacks. Let's get
and
into
some
spells.
and spells.
Can we have
Okay,
a new
so-
slate for the season that just has hacks? Just everyone's hacks. That'd be
Hacks
great.
time.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go down the list that I'm a big list.
You have a list of
I have a
hack
list.
spells.
Okay, so starting with FF3 and then just going. This is chronological. Aura, offensive ability up, is a spell that grants haste to all allies, moves you faster. Cleaved in 2 is an insta-kill attack. His most famous one is Mega Flare. This is the one that every Bahamut has. It's like his move. Flare is translated in the US originally to nuke. It's a nuclear blast. Mega Flare implies that it's 1,000,000 times more powerful than Flare. Of note, it actually bypasses Reflect, which is a spell that reflects any magical spell used against it. It bypasses that, so if you've ever played Persona, it's like Almighty. It bypasses Reflect, it bypasses all magical defense, and it's non-elemental, so you can't be like, if I'm buffed to fire, I can... Nope, doesn't work. It also inflicts Disable, which prevents you from using any action other than, like, moving around. You can use Aura to increase his attack power. Rend is an insta-kill. He has Reflect, which can reflect all magical attacks. He has Stop, which stops time, going to be very useful. Umbral Inferno and Umbral Strike are like homing lasers and energy orbs. He's got Graviga, which is a gravity attack. Curaga, I spelled it Curage for some reason.
Cure rage, heal
Curaga
myself, and then get mad.
is a heal. Full life fully revives a character. Totally useless here because it's only 1-on-1. Unless you wanted to revive Rayquaza just to beat his ass again. He's got elemental stuff like Thundaga, Firaga, Waterga, Blizzaga,
The Final Fantasy
Blizzaga,
spell names always get
Mhm.
me.
which is an
An
ice
ice
attack.
attack? Yeah, I knew you were gonna
Which
bring
would,
that.
boy, would be real. It would really suck if Rayquaza was double weak to ice and to ice. Yeah, by being a flying and a dragon type. Curse prevents the victim from using special attacks like special finishing moves. Banishga is a light elemental damage. Flash inflicts blind. He's got poison breath, which inflicts poison. Zombie breath, which turns you into a zombie. Maelstrom,
Whoa.
ice storm, aqua breath, lightning, blaze, earthshaker, frost. Of note, Dispel and Dispelga are going to be really useful here because they remove buffs from opponents. So when an opponent uses a status like buff to buff himself, like Pokemon do, it removes it instantly. And Auto Protect is a spell that he has, which automatically it just activates automatically. It halves physical damage, and it can't be removed by something like Dispel. Impulse inflicts.
So it has limits to what it can remove.
Dispel does well, it's because that's a Final Fantasy VIII thing, and it's like I think it's like a draw or something like that, which is something that can't be removed by spells. It's just like a thing that's innate to you.
I see you guys in chat. I'll get to it.
Yeah,
I got you. You're good. I got you guys.
Yeah. Anyways, and in terms of immunities, he's immune to everything. He's immune to stop, poison, blind, silence, transmutation like Pig, Mini, and Toad, petrified, death, berserk, confuse, sleep, paralyze, so all mental attacks, curse, Libra, which is a scanning ability, which is like allows you to scan your opponent and see what their abilities are, erased, catch, control, calm, zombie, aging. He has 100% elemental affinities, mental control, like stuff from the True Moon in Final Fantasy IV doesn't work, and soul attacks don't work either. Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting. That's a lot of attacks and like buffs and whatnot that seem to imply Bahamut's ready for a very technical fight with a lot of like buffs and strategy and interesting things that
especially that move that
Rayquaza
has, which removes his flying and dragon type weaknesses, which would make ice not effective. Dispel.
Well, it's not a
remove
move.
That.
It's not a move.
It is.
Well, let me get to it.
It is indeed.
So, Rayquaza's that's not going to matter in a fight with Rayquaza because Rayquaza's not here to like buff up stats. He's just here to like blow you up instantly. That's what he's here to do. He's got every single kind of like super powerful attack under the sun in Pokemon: Hyper Beam, Fire Blast, Blizzard, etc. So long as a beam can kill Bahamut, Rayquaza can do it. He's not going to sit there and buff himself up before he does it.
Okay, then that's an advantage.
Mega Evolution's also not
Bahamut
a buff.
has.
It is a completely new creature. He transforms into Mega Rayquaza. And Mega Rayquaza has Delta Stream, which completely removes the flying type weakness because it's not a buff on him. It's because he controls the weather. He creates winds that are so strong that anything that can target a flying type that would do super effective damage to it is canceled out and no longer does super effective damage. So it's not a buff on him. It is just him controlling the weather because he's a part of the
can
weather
control
trio.
the weather with Maelstrom.
Well, it's a good thing that his other ability that he has, which is called Airstream, I believe, Airlock, negates other creatures from controlling the weather. So doesn't matter.
Dispel prevents him from using that.
It is not a buff. It is just an innate ability that he has. It just happens. It doesn't matter. He's not going to be able to dispel it. If you were able to dispel it, it wouldn't, like, he would no longer be Rayquaza.
What weather exists when the planet has been blown up by a casual mega flare from Bahamut?
Whatever's in space, which Rayquaza lives in and can still do
weather.
this in.
Yeah,
so
but it wouldn't.
weather.
But there's no weather to control there, right?
I mean, he
no
technically
wind.
creates weather. Like Rayquaza creates weather. He's part of the weather trio.
So it
He's
just
in space.
He creates
nothing
air.
there.
creates weather around him in space.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, it's like Groudon creates the earth. Kyogre creates the ocean. He creates the sky.
Okay.
Yeah, and ultimately, I don't think most of those abilities are going to matter when Rayquaza just Mega Evolves and blasts him with Hyper Beam. That's all he's going to need to do.
Mega Evolves to what? How is he powerful enough to beat a guy that is demonstrably more powerful than somebody that can destroy an infinite multiverse instantly?
Okay, let me talk again. I talked about how Dialga and Palkia were
Yeah,
affecting.
you talked about them
the
warping
multiverse,
the
right?
multiverse. I'm talking
They
about
were
a guy
warping the multiverse.
that
I mean,
erased it
they
from
were going to destroy
existence.
it. Like the whole concept of what. So this
Were
is what
they
I was
going to
jumping
destroy
ahead
it
to.
or warping it?
Cyrus's goal was to use Dialga and Palkia to destroy the universe. Cyrus was wrong. He was actually going to destroy the multiverse because that's what Dialga and Palkia control. So they can completely erase the multiverse and reset it. The thing about Pokemon is it is canonically established that every single time that it is an infinitely expanding multiverse. Every single manga, every single anime episode, every single movie, and every single time you start up a new game in Pokemon creates a new universe in the multiverse of Pokemon, which is why I've been constantly restarting a new game
my
as I've been
God.
adding
Wow.
to the infinitely expanding multiverse to ensure.
I want to stop. I want to stop right now because Ben just accidentally fucked himself. Ben just accidentally fucked himself, and I'm going to explain why. What was that
Are you
word
gonna
that
let
you
me
just
finish?
used? No.
It's an
What was
infinitely
that?
expanding. It
Infinitely
continues over
expanding.
and over.
Because
Mhm.
every time you start a game, a new universe is
It
created,
adds
right?
to the infinite
Yes.
universe. Yes.
Oh, so it is infinite.
Yes. It is an infinitely expanding universe.
No. You said infinitely expanding, not infinite. If it starts, if a new universe is created every time somebody creates a game, then that means that the total is not infinite because there are not an infinite amount of people, right, on this planet.
Well, how do you
If
add
there
one?
are-
But how do you add one to infinity?
Chad,
What's
you add one to infinite. What are you talking about?
what's infinity plus one? It's still infinity.
Chad, Ben just said that the way that the Pokemon multiverse works is that every time somebody starts a new game,
Right.
that adds to the number, which means that it's not fucking infinite because there
But it was
aren't
already
an
Not
infinite
the
because it's an
only way
infinite.
to add to the number.
Yeah,
Right.
there's already an infinite number.
Where does it say it's infinite?
Where does what say it's infinite? That's just how they've established that it works.
Show me.
That in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they established this.
I
They
love
talk
this-
about how
this-
it's an
it's
infinite
infinity plus
multiverse.
one, bro.
So, I mean, sure. Like, if you want to give me that Rayquaza can destroy an infinite plus one universe or multiverse, sure. I guess I'll take that.
What if what it actually means is Pokemon is infinity plus infinity? Checkmate.
I mean, it could be. It could be. But if we're really getting into how gameplay works, I do want to touch on that as well. But first, I probably should talk about our second sponsor for this week's episode, which is Echoes of History. This is a new one. Echoes of History, or this episode is sponsored by Echoes of History: Assassins versus Templars. I think some of you already know where this is going because that sounds very familiar. What would you do to save humanity, and how far would you go to stop someone who is getting in your way? The ancient rivalry of assassins and Templars cuts to the heart of good versus evil, and it's not always clear who's right and who is wrong. Travel back in time and explore the captivating world of medieval feuds in the historical podcast Echoes of History: Assassins versus Templars, a special collaboration between History Hit and Ubisoft, the masterminds behind the Assassin's Creed games. That's what I meant when I was like, you probably know where this is going. But this is really interesting. It's hosted by Dan Snow from History Hit and Matt Lewis from Gone Medieval. And this 8-episode season will take a close look at the real history of the secret societies that inspire the Assassin's Brotherhood and the Templar Order. As many of you know, the Assassin's Creed games are very committed to creating sort of a legit historical sort of setting and following what really happened. So the fact that these are actually inspired by real things that existed way back when, no surprise to me. That's super interesting. Whether you're a fan of the Assassin's Creed games or you're just curious about history, Echoes of History will take you on an epic journey through the hidden corridors of power, intrigue, and conspiracy in the 12th century. Echoes of History: Assassins versus Templars podcast is available right now wherever you get your podcasts. Listen and subscribe to Echoes of History today to discover the hidden truths and that have shaped our world and inspired the video game series. That's Echoes of History wherever you get your podcasts. Listen today and subscribe for more. It's actually a pretty cool idea for a podcast.
This sounds really cool.
Yeah. But we have our own podcast to keep going with. So let me talk about Rayquaza in the games, because we're talking about game mechanics and game moves and things like that. So, like I said, most of his moves are just kill you in a single shot. You're done. The Rayquaza is so powerful in the games, like ridiculously powerful, to the point where Mega Rayquaza actually has the highest stat block, essentially next to or tied with Mega Mewtwo, because of course they had to make Mewtwo, one of the most powerful things in the game.
Yes, of course.
But they had already made Rayquaza the most powerful, so like, well, I guess we'll match him. But Mega Rayquaza was so powerful that he broke the meta just by existing. So when Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came out, it introduced Mega Rayquaza, and the way Pokemon competitive play works is that they have different tiers for each like level of power of Pokemon, right? So the really high powerful ones, the legendaries and whatnot, are in the Uber tier. So if you enter an Uber tier game, you're using those like really ridiculously powerful Pokemon, like Mewtwo, like Kyogre, etc. So naturally, they put Rayquaza in the Uber tier, or Mega Rayquaza in the Uber tier. The problem was that Mega Rayquaza was so broken with that combination of Delta Stream making him no longer weak to anything, and his innate just like ridiculous power and defenses and whatnot, that there was no way to win in Uber tier unless you had Mega Rayquaza. He became the only reasonable meta. So Mega Rayquaza is the only Pokemon to ever be banned from that tier. And create an entirely new tier just for him. Technically, it's not just for him. It's the anything goes tier, but it's the only tier where you can use Mega Rayquaza. You can literally only use Mega Rayquaza if you throw all the rules out the window and just let bullshit chaos reign supreme. That is how ridiculously powerful Rayquaza is. He broke the game he was originally in. And technically speaking, because each game is its own universe within the canon, that puts him above literally every other Pokemon in existence, including God itself.
In the meta.
Including
Jesus
God
Christ.
itself?
Including in the meta. And like let's
Yeah.
let's
you throw Arceus at Mega Rayquaza in the game, you'll obliterate him.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Let's take a step back and let's look at this. So Rayquaza is no. I'm going to finish. Don't talk.
Rayquaza are you arguing for Rayquaza
I'm
and fourth
talking.
wall manipulation? To a certain extent, yes, I am.
I'm talking. Rayquaza can fight two beings which were warping the multiverse. Bahamut
like
is
Dialga and
stronger.
Palkia.
Bahamut. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Bahamut is stronger than a being that was going to instantly destroy the entire multiverse. Arguably, same level of power. Advantage slight, Bahamut. How fast
Again,
is
Cyrus was specifically got Dialga and Palkia to wipe everything out.
great? So they're even in terms of power.
Sure, yeah. Look,
If we're going
Great.
with that direction, sure.
And,
Yeah,
and,
what
and,
about
and,
speed?
and the version
But-
of
Rayquaza
Rayquaza-
is in an expanding infinite multiverse. Is the Final Fantasy multiverse
Yes.
infinite expanding?
yes, it is an expanding multiverse
Well,
with every single timeline.
I'll reverse this in. Where does it say that, Liam? Where does it say that?
Ultimania.
Hey, Josh, how you doing,
Okay.
bud?
Anyways, no. Let me keep going. How fast is Rayquaza?
Okay. Good question. Super fast. I
How
don't know.
fast?
I didn't look
Good
that
question
up.
for this
Let me
look
turn-based.
up.
These turn-based characters.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. So with extreme, he does have a move called extreme speed, which basically lets him move faster than anything else. So if he's faster than, well, he's faster than God. He can beat God in a fight. So yeah, infinite speed.
That's yeah.
Sure.
Because of meta.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
technically speaking, you were talking about the hacks meta, so this is
Infinite.
I wasn't talking about
It's faster
meta.
than God. Infinite
I wasn't
speed,
talking
Liam.
about
That's
meta.
your answer.
You know what is infinite speed though? Neo X Death, who is stated to be omnipresent and exist everywhere within the void. Bartz and his group could fight him, and Bahamut is literally a more difficult opponent with a higher speed stat. So faster than infinite, if we want to go that route. There's also there's also measurable speed feats. Like in FF8, there's a summon called Eden that fires a blast that travels from Earth to a different galaxy in like a second. That was like 6 trillion times the speed of light. The comet that, or the meteor that Sephiroth summons in his final move in Supernova, travels from outside the galaxy and is moving at 20 trillion times the speed of light. So those are some more measurable stuff, but at its peak, like infinite. So
Okay.
I'm not sure what the argument here, if the argument is Rayquaza is fighting an opponent that is as strong or stronger than he is, and he's just gonna he doesn't use buffs or hacks, he just blows people up. Well, Bahamut has Mega Flare as like his staple move, which is the blow you up move. So he has blow up stuff, and he also has hacks. Like you talked about like ice moves not being effective on him, but magic in Final Fantasy is different. Like it's stated to be warping reality itself at a subatomic level. Like Blizzaga is described in the guidebook for FF4 as slowing the velocity of its target's internal electrons. Like that's how it works. It isn't like I'm going to turn the weather cold. It's like no, your electrons have stopped moving, and to the point where you can just shatter them. So I don't think Delta Stream is really going to be effective against something that is literally warping reality itself. Like that's a degree of control above what Rayquaza is. Rayquaza's controlling the weather. Bahamut's controlling reality. They're equally strong, maybe equally fast. And Bahamut has way more hacks. Stuff like stopping time. I know that he fought.
Okay, I do have
Dialga or whoever, but
I do have a speed thing for
Okay,
Shermanator says if he's omnipresent, that means he can't dodge.
So he is everywhere. No,
damn, you got me.
We've never
Fire
considered that
beam and it
before.
destroys
I
it.
got you, fucker.
That's funny. Okay, so my manga thing actually does come into play. So I talked about how he sort of scales to Ultra Necrozma, because Necrozma fought Zygarde at 100%, and Zygarde could match him. Zygarde's kind of like just Rayquaza again. He's just there to protect the Earth. So there's a bit of a hop skip scaling here, where Zygarde fought Mewtwo, and Mewtwo fought Deoxys, and Deoxys is continuously trounced by Rayquaza. And Deoxys is sort of a match for Mewtwo, which sort of sets Rayquaza up as stronger than Mewtwo, and Mewtwo could keep up with Zygarde, 50% Zygarde. So naturally, you can kind of loosely scale Rayquaza to Zygarde and then to Necrozma there. And Necrozma has canonically wiped out an entire universe by sucking up all the light into a single location. And by sucking up all that light that is well beyond light speed, potentially infinite speed, to just suck up all the stars all at once. So there's a little bit of a hopscotch there, but I think it does hold up. So, I do think infinite speed, if we want to go as far as infinite speed for this, sure, it kind of holds up for Rayquaza.
Yeah.
But
Bahamut has abilities that can slow you, stop you, and speed himself up. So I think no matter what, he's going to have a speed advantage.
What do you think Dialga and Palkia do? That's exactly what Dialga and Palkia do.
Did Rayquaza break through a time stop?
The Roar of Time and Spatial Rend specifically stop time and bend space. And Rayquaza fought those two.
Did he fought those moves? Or did he just fight Dialga and Palkia?
Did he fought those moves?
So. And he definitely fights them in the meta.
No, but it's a serious question, because you can fight a time stop person and beat them even if you can't resist the time stop.
No
I'm not
way.
saying that stop is the one answer, but Bahamut just has more options. Period. You're leaning on he's just gonna blow him up as an answer. Bahamut can blow you up too, and he has all this other stuff. So who's gonna win between the person that can blow you up versus the person that can blow you up and do everything else to you, like death, which harvests your soul? In some continuities,
I just don't think he's gonna be able to blow Rayquaza up before Rayquaza blows him up.
Why?
Pokemon have
equally
souls?
fast. The speed is equal.
Oh yeah, we got ghost
the
types.
strength
So yeah.
is equal.
That's true. Yeah, he does fight ghost types. So
okay. And what are we talking about here? You're just throwing out random things. He can fight ghost types.
I do feel like we've sort of entered a circular argument here. So
no,
I think
the argument is what is like equal power, equal speed, more
Mhm.
versus equal power, equal speed, less. More win. Like it's not.
But
It's not
Rayquaza has dealt with all of that more before. And he does manipulate reality with his abilities, like the weather and whatnot. Like he creates the weather. Like
creating weather is not warping reality.
yes, it is.
Look. Here's Ben. Like he can have encountered all of this stuff. Bahamut has encountered all of this stuff too, and he has it. Like if it's gonna be a war of attrition, then Bahamut will win eventually because he has more.
Well, you know what? I think I've said all I need to say.
He's also smarter.
Okay.
Rayquaza is just kind of a big Pokemon, and Bahamut's like an ancient dragon. I mean, it depends on the continuity. Sometimes he's like a beast, but like
I guess I should
Bahamut
say
is like
Rayquaza is
ancient...
not an animal. He is a sentient, like thinking creature.
Like... Well, we're animals too. I know he's a sentient thinking creature, but like.
Are we gonna get semantics
Bahamut
about the definition of animal?
No, but Bahamut is like a millennia's old dragon. He can speak, and magic is specifically tied to like your intelligence and your ability to like project your will and your imagination on reality. That's an actual quote. So
Rayquaza is a mythic Pokemon who can telepathically speak with people and has lived since the dawn of time and
since the dawn
Earth.
of Earth.
Yeah. That however old Earth is. I don't know. I don't remember how old Earth is. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to these votes because I do feel like we're
Googling how
coming to
old
the
is
end here.
Earth? 4.543 billion years.
There we go. He's that old. Really? It's that old?
Josh, it's been a
yeah, I
minute.
guess that makes sense.
Literally the most understated time calculation that we could possibly use.
Yep. All right, let's get to these votes. So it's we usually start this with some responses from you all from the community post. So let's go ahead and bring up the first community answer for Rayquaza or Bahamut. Assuming we have those.
I don't know. Mike, do we have them?
There you go.
Mike, were you provided some community page answers? Searching.
I don't know. Oh, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
Unbindal says, if we're talking about, what is it, 14 Bahamut, who was so powerful that he's the main in-universe reason why the entire game had to get rebooted, Rayquaza's a worm by comparison.
Wow, that's rude.
I love that. Also, I would have
That
loved
is true.
I would have loved if you used the Y on worm, but that was really good. I loved your pun.
I guess that's a good, like, if you want to bring up a bullshit meta argument, like Bahamut is actually the reason why they had to reboot Final Fantasy. Is like the in-canon universe why they like A Realm Reborn happened in 14.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's go ahead and bring up the answer for Rayquaza, which I'm sure is going to be much more supportive.
Vargan says Rayquaza wins easily, considering that Bahamut has no resistance to radiation, which Rayquaza can create and shoot, as a few moves that Rayquaza can use are radioactive.
Bahamut's like most notable move, the one that is associated with every single incarnation of him, is a fucking nuke beam. What are you talking about?
The thing, chat, is Rayquaza radioactive? That's new for me.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't know
familiar with that.
I mean, like, Hyper Beam is technically radioactive because it's like light, and like light radiates.
Yes, sure.
There's an Imagine Dragons joke.
I think
in
that's
here
a
somewhere,
generous
by the way.
interpretation.
So throwing that out there.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'm missing something with the radiation.
He's also
thing,
not
sure.
weak to radiation. I mean, I don't think he has like any like defense.
Well, you
against
know
it 'cause
what?
it's
No, you know what?
non-elemental.
I'm gonna take that as fact because that's from a very supportive community member. Rayquaza's gonna Godzilla beam.
Did he mean Bahamut?
Yeah,
Did
there
he
you
mean
go.
Did he mean? I think there's a possibility
No.
that person meant Bahamut.
No, he meant
Because Bahamut is the one
Rayquaza
with the
is
ra-
going
with the
to
radiation beam.
James
melt
Pugh says,
Bahamut
I
down."
mean, he's green?
All right, let's start getting to these votes. I'm very curious to see what everybody's thinking at this point.
You put
So
the
let's
poll
go
up
ahead and
yet?
start. I'll get the poll up as we get the community page pull up. Let's go ahead and bring up the community page. I'll start the poll in the chat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, that's not.
We have.
Hey!
Okay.
Look at that percentage, y'all.
Nice.
Did it again.
Rayquaza with a good 69. Nice percentage. Very nice.
Oh,
Very
boy.
nice. So we got one vote for Rayquaza. All right, chat. The
Good.
poll is up for you all to vote live. But
Go to Josh first. I'm gonna do something.
What?
okay.
I was really banking
Chad
on
has,
you.
Chad has
answering
disappeared.
this
Josh,
first. Oh, no.
it's all on you, I guess.
I don't like
Chad's
that.
just gone.
Give us
I mean,
your opinion.
First of all, I want to say if we ever do this death battle, I think it would be amazing if we did it turn-based. That would just be hilarious and so fun.
Why didn't we talk about that?
I know,
That'd be
right?
great.
Delay actually is what is a turn-based move. It like prevents you from taking your move. I just thought that was fun.
I came into this like thinking that Rayquaza had this and really hearing really compelling arguments that reinforce that. But oh man, there's just so much that Bahamut's got across so many different games. Like specifically him appearing or it appearing in so many games. I think I'm gonna go Bahamut.
Thanks,
I'm so
Josh.
split. I mean, like honestly, this whole time I was like, I might just bust out my Pokemon trading card coin and to flip a coin. Because I was like, I don't know, but yeah.
Wait.
All right, okay,
No, I
go
like
to my
your
camera.
first one.
Go to my camera. I'm not even kidding, Josh. That's what I set up to do. That's what I set up to do. Y'all, I went to my Pokemon cam because these are both insane. I don't know what to do, so I'm flipping a goddamn Eevee, okay? Here's where we go.
That's amazing.
Heads, it's Rayquaza. Hold on, I can focus better. Let's do it.
Okay, we got one vote for Bahamut, one vote for Rayquaza. Chad is literally gonna flip a coin.
All right. Here we go.
So heads is Rayquaza.
Again,
tails
there's
is
no
Bahamut.
bias whatsoever here, right? I don't have like. Anyway, here we go.
Can we get a chocobo on there?
Hey.
And it's Rayquaza.
That
Damn
looks
it.
like a Rayquaza vote to me.
What's the other side of the coin?
It's just nothing. It's just.
Okay.
You wanted to make sure it wasn't the same on both sides?
When I saw you, I swear to God, I thought it was like an Eevee face on both
I
sides.
did
and was
too.
about
I literally had the same thought, Liam, and I didn't want to
what
say
is this
anything.
like?
Yeah, just
This is
let it
how
go.
you
Just let
defeat
it go.
Two-Face ass move.
What?
I love it, Chad.
That's great. Okay.
That is so funny. Josh, are you gonna do the same?
This was
No,
so
I mean I
no.
casted my vote.
He already voted for Bahamut. I
Can't take
mean,
it
I
back.
guess you can
Cast.
change your vote if you want.
I was generous
Says
to
the guy
allow,
arguing
like,
for Rayquaza.
Koopa Rayquaza.
Thank you, Grumpo, for the 5 memberships. Hope everybody gets those, enjoys them. Okay, so we have 2 votes for Rayquaza, 1 vote for Bahamut, and a very zoomed in shot on chat. I'll leave the.
I had to reset up real quick. This is gonna get weird for a second. Sorry, one moment.
I'll leave the vote up for just a little bit
That wasn't
longer.
a flip, Chad. It was a spin. I feel cheated. It's okay.
I had to keep it in frame.
Chad, just don't even start. I want to have Bahamut destroy your infinite multiverse. Like Bahamut go.
Look, I don't know. This is way crazier than I thought it was gonna be. Thank you,
Stop
Grumpo, for the 5 memberships. By the way, I don't know if that already called out.
Yeah, it is. It's. I mean, we haven't done a dragon death battle yet.
We haven't.
And every
which is
time,
Yeah.
shameful.
every time a dragon death battle like idea comes up, it's one of these things where it's just like, let's blow up the universe. It's like I don't know if I want to do that kind of dragon death
No,
battle,
right?
to be
Need some
honest.
chill dragon.
It's funny how Ghidorah versus Deathwing is a level of power far below this. You know, like they're just like gonna blow up the planet. Like that's the extent.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the multiverse.
this goes beyond just like dragons flying around shooting beams at each other. This is like, let's obliterate time itself.
In space, yeah, everything. This is
Oh
crazy.
boy. Okay. I mean, I think surely there's a lot more we can dive into with this if we did an actual death battle. But this is definitely a very complicated matchup. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up the poll. We are at 4:00, and we are ending it with 61% of the vote to Rayquaza.
Bullshit.
That's me.
Oh shit.
Also, I saw a lot of people were saying things about the flip. I did it really
Yeah.
quick, and I don't know if it picked up. It did spin a few times, but whatever, it's fine. I just did another one, and it still landed on head, so we're all good.
Is it weighted?
We're-
Is it unevenly weighted?
No,
here's
it's no.
Here's a quarter. Here's a quarter. Okay,
Well, that
heads,
was heads again.
heads,
I think have a quarter.
tails. Let's go. Fuck!
Oh,
It
no, that
landed
was
on
you.
heads. No.
and this time I just did it again and landed on tails. You're good.
I do think that coin might be a little
Heads
difficult
again!
to show on camera just
What?
because of the dark.
Yeah.
One side's dark and one side's
Heads on
shiny.
mine.
So, oh my
Heads!
gosh!
No.
Yeah, it's
That's not
heads all around.
possible. That's not. It's actually, this is
Rayquaza
just-
wins definitively because of this. That's like 7 new votes.
Finally. Jesus, that took forever. It's
And
actually-
remember,
Oh my
every
God.
vote we add to the infinite universe of votes when
That's
Rayquaza
right.
wins.
Yes. Oh wait,
Excellent.
I need to keep resetting. Okay, cool. Got another universe in. So, thank you all for joining us for this episode of Death Battle Cast. What a
was
matchup!
insane.
What a matchup! Hope you all join us for the next one we do. We do this, of course, every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Central, and it's always just as chaotic as this usually. All right, thank you to everybody who voted. Thank you, Chad and Josh, for putting up with me and Liam's bullshit.
That was wild. I was not prepared for where this episode went today.
I mean, I've never done anything wrong ever. So it's just Ben's bullshit.
I think I won.
I've never been wrong ever.
All
Liam.
right. Thank you all for watching. Be kind to others.
Appreciate
be kind to
y'all.
yourself. Be awesome. And we will
See you
see
guys.
you next week. Take care.